Welcome, Peyman. Thank you so much for being with us. I appreciate your time.
It's great to be here.
I want to first start us off by just learning a little bit about you and who you are. So, do you mind sharing with us a bit about your background?
Sure. More recently, I've been involved. We have a registered investment advisory firm, and our activities in the recent past has been focusing on a certain immigration program called EB5.
Okay.
And as investment advisors, really, we work with the investors to make sure that they find the right investments projects to invest in, basically.
Okay.
And so with that, we do the due diligence on the projects, make sure they are obviously valid and they conform to the actual requirements of EB5, as well as being sound financial investments to make sure that the investors are not being defrauded and or they're getting their money back. So that's what we've been doing. And prior to that, it come from, seems like a lifetime ago, I was in investment banking, involved in the emerging markets. So this is back in the 90s, opening up a lot of the Latin American markets like Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Colombia. Then moved on from there to Eastern Europe and Russia and the Middle East. So quite busy.
Call it a world traveler, I see. Going all over the place.
Some time ago, though. Yes,
yeah.
That's right.
Well, that gives you a lot of experience in working with different cultures and understanding different marketplaces like that around the world. I mean, not a lot of people get access to that kind of insight. So it probably gives you a very unique perspective in dealing with all kinds of different immigrants.
Very much so, yes. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I was attracted to EB5. So I had left really the world of investment banking.
Right.
And you're right, a lot of travel, but also mean early burnout. So so I kind of semi-retired out of the world of finance about 18 years ago. And I was involved in real estate, just my own real estate projects where I came across EB5. So this whole kind of knowing cultures and the difficulty that an immigration process is for anybody.
Yeah.
And then add on top of that this layer of a substantial investment being made in an area, in a country they don't know, in a project they don't know. So it was really those factors that attracted me actually to the whole immigration investment.
Right. Wonderful. And now you're applying those same principles of kind of protecting people, reviewing investments, understanding all these different cultures, and taking that and applying it to the franchise space and franchise investments. So talk to us a little bit about how franchising is a fit for what your background and skills are.
Well, I think that at the end of the day, it's investment again, right? So it's an individual making an investment in a business with the hope that that's going to succeed. Now, it is different in that the investment world that I come from is passive investment, mostly securities, shares and loan securities. So it is different in that sense. This requires a more hands-on involvement by the investor, but it is still making a sound investment in a business.
Right.
So that part of it is very attractive to me, and actually. It's been a long time, since really I left the world of investment banking, where I'm looking at a variety of industries, right, from food and restaurant business to hauling junk to schools and education. So that actually makes it really attractive for me again. It kind of brings variety back again. So it's really kind of, I guess, taking my experiences in the past in terms of analyzing businesses and then applying it to a different world, which I have to learn about. I was telling you earlier, I feel a little incompetent. I'm out of my zone of confidence and competence. So to learn about how the franchise system works, etc. But the process is the same. You look at business opportunities, you look at the client's needs and try to match the two together and find the right investment for given the needs of an investor. So that makes it quite exciting.
Yeah, and there's so many different types of businesses out there and types of franchises that you can look at. Do you have any experience in looking at kind of like the statements and disclosures of a business or the financial statements?
Financial statement. I was actually the head of research at Deutsche Bank for equity research. So very much in terms of looking at financial statements and looking to make assessments as to what future might bring in terms of growth, etc. So that part of it, yes, but an FDD, which is really the offering document, if you like, for franchises, is very different. So I do need to look at that a little bit more carefully, and of course, all the courses have helped tremendously, especially some of the videos that you have. So I need to get to understand that better and how each item, what really each item means,
right?
And then
do you think you can apply what you learned before to the franchise process?
Some of it, I think, some of it experience and having just being used to analyzing companies and sectors and businesses, I think it makes it it's a similar process, but it's the nuances are different. So it's understanding, what that means, and really that's where the training comes in to make it a lot easier to and faster to actually understand those things.
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, there's a lot of training that goes into any new profession, especially with a profession that's as serious as what we're doing here, which is, handling people's investments and their personal savings and their personal, life savings in some cases. So I feel like, having the securities background that you have and having the immigration and the investment banking background, those things play well into doing that process of helping people understand the value of a business, the opportunities of it, and the risks of it as well, so that they're best prepared. Would you have anything in particular that you would share about an experience a client would go through with you and what they would expect in working with you?
I would think that my approach is always going to be very analytical. So I think that what they would expect from me, and I would expect from myself, would be to make sure that I really understand both the franchise, the brand, and the market in which the franchise system is operating, and to understand it very well in the depth, so I can really give the appropriate advice. So the depth of research is one. The other, I think that from my, if you like, an investment advisory background, I'm going to be just cognizant of the fact that a franchise is not just a franchise fee investment. And even beyond that, it's more than what the cost of a lease or the bricks and mortars are, in that the working capital becomes very important. And to really understand that even with the working capital, 3 months, maybe that might be true for some franchises, but I would really want to test that. In my opinion, there are not too many businesses that you can start from day one and the end of 3 months that is break even. If they are, that's fantastic. But at least for the investor to be prepared in terms of their funding for a longer period of working capital working capital needs that they need to make sure they are able to provide. So I think for me, it might be a little bit more cautious in terms of the capitalization. Because I think, in my opinion, that's an important factor and maybe plays into the success of the franchise or not, or the franchisee's business or not. So I probably will be focusing a lot more on that.
So you're taking more of a holistic approach to it and using some of that background experience to help increase the length of time or the length of capital that they might want to invest in. That's good because, franchise grade, that's one of the things that they grade on is how much working capital are they putting out there, because they want a more realistic estimate as opposed to just doing the bare minimum to get the FDD approved. And that's good that you already have that knowledge and insight.
That's right. I'm actually very excited about franchise grade. Having that, and as you know, we've talked about it, that's one of the main things. One of the issues that really attracted me to FBA was the fact that it wasn't just an association that made it possible to broker or consultant franchising, but was one that provided me with the kind of data and information and research capabilities that I would require in order to be able to, I think, do my job. Right. So I'm actually really looking forward to getting my teeth stuck in, in franchise grade.
Oh yeah, it's tons of fun once you dive in there. It's kind of like being a detective in a lot of ways, because you get to see how these different businesses operate, how they make money, and are they making money in a way that supports the relationship and the success of the franchisee, or are they making money in a way that hinders them and actually it doesn't allow them to be that successful. And both exist. It's not just the good. We also see the other side of it. Do you mind sharing with us just a little bit about what else? What are some of the reasons why you wanted to come with Franchise Brokers Association as opposed to other organizations? Well,
the first was really, I think, the quality of the people that I spoke to, and Jim and I, my partner and I spoke to, in terms of really the knowledge base. And I think importantly, as I found out having done Zoracle since we've become members, so this societal aspect for me, an understanding that in terms of wanting to make a difference. And so for me, therefore, knowing that certainly everybody, including yourself that I spoke to, cared about the industry and about the potential clients who come in, that they need to be looked after, rather than here's another commission that's walked through the door and let's just sell them any old franchise. That was very attractive to us. And as I was actually saying to Rebecca, that I found out going through Zoracle, I said, well, that's why everything I've done in my life has been looking for a cause. And here I am. So that was very important. So really the quality of you all in FBA, and having that care about the industry, caring about the clients who come in, and wanting to really guide them rather than chasing commission. So that was a very important aspect, in addition to, as I said, the tools of the trade. And obviously for me at my age, I don't have years to learn the tricks of the trade, as it were, or to understand it. So having that training, the extensive training, becomes very important, knowing that I can get up to speed a lot quicker having that kind of training, and to be able to actually utilize those tools. So those are kind of the three elements that helped Jim and I make that decision.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Peyman, for coming on today. I really do appreciate you sharing your time with us and your insights. And welcome to the team.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Wonderful.